Folkestone is an art school. At the beginning, it's good to think about inspiration. Where do ideas come from? This is a tin painted by my mother in 1967. Before 1967, orange really wasn't invented, but inside it are some of my earliest paintings. Here's a horse that I painted brown, and here's a pony that I painted grey. And I thought I'd start by painting these ends of a piano that I took apart a few years ago with some arbitrary colours that I found in my studio that have been left over from other painting projects. Art is a surgical operation, so I'm putting on these surgeon's gloves to protect my hands from the oil paint. So a couple of years ago I painted tins of paint the wrong colours on the outside, so I'm not actually quite sure what's inside this, but I can see now it's brown. It's quite old paint, it's got a big thick skin on it. And I'm going to begin by just painting these ends of parts of the ends of a piano brown. That's enough brown. Let's go for some, I think this might be red. Oh, this is a nice thick red. So I'm trying to imagine now, recreate the experience of my mother painting the tin orange. Got this little panel here that I thought I'd paint. I rather like this sort of duck egg blue. It's coming together there. I found this blue spray paint and I just thought I would like to have a bit of modulation of colour where one colour goes into another colour. Because the duck egg blue is a lighter tone and this blue is darker, it looks great. The brown was quite thin, so I'm putting it on rather thick now. So a lot of the decisions one makes as an artist are quite intuitive, and I've decided to stop painting now. For some reason, God knows why, I think that looks quite interesting. So I'm going to stop there, move the paints aside, and have a look at what I've done. There's this little painting here. And this one here. And then this painting here. So what I'm going to do now is take these outside into my sculpture garden and let them dry overnight and have a look at them again in the morning.
Art builds. Art questions. Art transcends borders. Art works. Art questions. It spawns new ideas for shaping our future. It inspires people, opens up new perspectives, and thus enables them to embrace unusual and innovative solutions.
Actually, I think this tabletop that I painted the paintings on looks at least as interesting as the paintings that I painted on it. I think I'm going to take this outside and let it dry.
Hold on tight now. The flies are landing. The train is
don't normally make paintings like this, but I think that looks really beautiful. Sleep stimulation. Sleep stimulation.
Folkestone is an art school. Folkestone, you're an art school.
Brain scientists now think that because the brain recovers from the questions of the previous day overnight, it's upon waking that most people have their inspired ideas, because the brain's had a chance to put all the questions together and create some answers. I'm going to draw a brain for you now. It's a slightly stylized brain, like a 60s diagram of a brain. But I've got the initial shape from this Tunnock's tea cake. I'm rather enjoying drawing the folds in the brain, although this drawing looks nothing like a brain really. It has some nice graphic qualities to it. Now upon waking, it's when the brain comes up with the solutions to the questions and anxieties of the previous morning. Here we've got some great ideas coming out of the brain. The first one I've done as a great idea is the colour brown. This great idea coming out of the brain is going to be abstract language, and I've represented that with a number 2. We've got language, spoken language, and I'm going to represent that with the word at. Things we see, I've chosen to draw an extremely simplistic castle. This idea can be a Tunnock's tea cake, because before drawing this brain I didn't know how to draw it, and I decided to use the Tunnock's tea cake. And here is going to be smell, and to represent something to do with smell, decided to get this blue paint out again. And this paint really, it's rather brain coloured, but this paint, I don't know if this is smell-o-vision, but this is really stinky paint.
Folkestone is an art school.
Well, I want to open this green paint. Oh, it's not quite the right colour green. Oh shit. Oh dear. It looks really beautiful though. God, that's so beautiful. What I might do actually is capitalise upon this and put a bit of paper underneath and then move these away and see where it runs. Yeah, we've made a sound piece here. And we've also made a drawing machine. Let's see what happens. Well, that's a really beautiful shape. It's a really beautiful sound. And look at the shapes left behind. And this is a classic modernist thing to do, actually, is to do things like this. See what I'm doing there? Or, wait for it, confounding everybody's expectations. But actually, that is such a beautiful shape. You know, this is all about visuality. It's such shiny, cheap paint, and it's slightly lumpy. Looks a bit like the surface of the moon. But it's got this beautiful edge where the oil is seeping into the paint because this isn't primed, doesn't resist the paint. And it's all seeping down these lines on the plank. Now, I'm going to rescue this bit of paper very quickly because it's going to run off all over the floor. But this is going out into the sculpture garden to dry. Go and get the other one. Now, the thing is, I am now meant to be teaching you art, but I'm learning a lot already. I think this whole process is going to change my approach to making art.
What's important is what's around you, and that's why it's really crucial that you always have some kind of sketchbook.
But that's what we'll come to in lesson 2. Homework. Your homework is to write your own program of inspiration. What are the kinds of situations and things when you feel most inspired? And then practically, I want you to make something which is subject to events, where somebody else perhaps alters what you do, or perhaps the weather comes and alters it. Perhaps it's a drawing that you leave outside. But I want you to make an artwork which is subject to events. React to the newspaper, react to something on TV. But make something which can only be made now.